Hey everyone, I'm Travis Moore. I'm the founder and executive director of TechCongress, and I wanted to record a little video during this 2025 application cycle to say a couple things and really encourage you to apply. So I want to tell you three things about TechCongress. I want to tell you two things about the application process, and then I want to address one big thing that's going on in the world right now. First, we recruit, train, place, and support computer scientists, engineers, and other technologists to go into Congress and serve in Congress as tech policy advisors for members of Congress and congressional committees. We've been at this for nearly 10 years. I can't believe it. And next year will be our 10th year of fellows in Congress, so it's a big moment. The three things I want to tell you about Tech Congress. First is that I built this program because I needed it as a staffer. I served in Congress for 6 years. I was legislative director to a member from Los Angeles. We were voting on a cybersecurity bill about 11 years ago. This was now CISPA. And in order to make a vote recommendation to the congressman, I need to wrap my head around some technical concepts, stuff that's probably basic to some of you all. Things like PII, things like data anonymization. And so I picked up the phone and I called a couple committees and picked up the phone and I asked them, is there anyone in the office that could explain these things to me? I'm torn. The Intelligence Committee is telling us we need to vote yes on this bill, and then the civil liberties groups are telling us no, you need to vote no. And the answer that I got from both of those committees was we don't have anyone. We do not have that expertise. And so I had to go outside of the building, and I had to go to a large tech company for that advice. And that made me deeply uncomfortable because an independent branch of government, an entire branch of government, should probably have tech expertise in the building because, as we like to say at Tech Congress, tech is not just a slice of the policy-making pie. It's really the flour. It's baked into every piece. It undergirds everything, and that is certainly true today. That was our thesis in 2015 when we started, and it has definitely come true. So that's number one. I built this because I needed it as a staffer. Number two, I want to tell you one of the great things about this program is that you get to go work for your political hero. And this is like a master's degree in how Congress and government works. You will get the best education that one can get into the public sector by working in this program. We've had 112 fellows to date. On the Republican side, we've had fellows serve with Senator Tim Scott, Senator Mitt Romney, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Mike McCall, Senator John Thune, the number 2 Republican in the Senate, Senator Ted Cruz. On the Democratic side, we've had fellows serve under Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator John Ossoff, Intelligence Committee Chair Mark Warner, really the upper echelons of Congress and of the United States government. And you get to drive that process. Ultimately, you get to choose. We have a lot of support for you in the process, but you get to choose where you go serve. And third, I want to say you've seen the fellows work. You may not realize it, but you've definitely seen their work. And we really want you to be part of the next cohort and be part of the future and drive the work of this program in the future. So to name some recent examples, the hearing last year with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, his first appearance in Congress, that was organized by one of our alumni. The hearing with Frances Haugen, the Facebook whistleblower, a few years ago, that was organized by one of our alumni. The TikTok bill that moved out of the House and then through the Senate, which got a lot of press a few months ago, that was driven by and influenced by two of our alumni on the China Select Committee in the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has a digital service. This is the first digital service in a legislature in the United States. It's a really big deal. Doesn't get a lot of press. That was started because we had a digital service fellowship back in the depths of COVID in 2020, and it helped catalyze the institution to start its own office. The first hearing on facial recognition, way back in 2017. This was organized by one of our alumni. And to give you a really current example, at this moment, we have two fellows, one on the Democratic side, one on the Republican side, helping lead the work to build the bill in the House on addressing AI. So they are in the center of gravity, and we've got one person on the right, one person on the left driving this work. So those are the three things I wanted to tell you about Tech Congress that I needed as a staffer, that you get to drive your placement process, and that's why this is an incredible educational opportunity, and that the work of the fellows is incredibly impactful, and you can have immediate impact in this program. The two things I want to tell you about the application process. This will be, we hope, our largest single class yet. We're aiming for up to 16 fellows, 8 to serve in Republican offices and 8 to serve in Democratic offices. And that speaks to the moment that we are in. AI is going to move within the next year. There's going to be an AI bill, and we want to meet the moment. And so that is why we are recruiting really, really hard for this current moment. Second thing I want to tell you about the application process. Imposter syndrome is real. If you are watching this or you have heard about this program and you're feeling tentative, we have surveyed every year when our classes of fellows come in, we survey them. And to a person, every single fellow says they were really reluctant to apply for this program. And they ended up applying because someone encouraged them to do it. They decided to take a leap. They read a blog post by a fellow that inspired them to take that risk. If you are feeling imposter syndrome, please know that that is 100% common, and it makes sense. You are changing sectors, you are changing likely cities. We understand this is a really big transition, and we know it's normal. And I want to reinforce, if you're having that feeling, that is a good thing, because that means that you are bringing the care and the attention and the humility to this. That is important, because you are going to be serving at the highest levels of government on some high stakes stuff. So those are the two things I wanted to tell you about the application process. The single biggest class yet. If you've got imposter syndrome, great. Let's get over that. And the one thing I want to say, I want to address the current moment. I want to address the elephant in the room. We are in an election year. It is a really tense time. I'm recording this on Thursday following the attempted assassination of President Trump on last Saturday, and I am sure, like you all, you had a hard weekend. It has been a hard couple days. We are living in what feels like one crisis after another, and one of the few benefits of feeling like you're living through a crisis every year is that you can kind of reflect on it and reflect on how you've dealt with that. So I'm thinking back to 4 years ago when we were in the depths of the pandemic. And 4 years ago, we thought really long and hard about whether we should pause the program and just sort of take 6 months off and let the dust settle and see what happened. We didn't do that. Instead, we decided we'd lean into it and try and do what's hard, and recognize we were probably going to make some mistakes, and we learned from that. And we immediately learned that was the right decision. And that was because the fellows were integrated into the work and the COVID response in just extraordinary ways. Peter Turpluk was leading the daily brief for his then boss, Senator Thune, on the coronavirus response. Victoria Howard, working for Speaker Pelosi, started working on the broadband provisions to help make sure all these kids that are studying remotely, not in schools, could have access to wireless signals and wouldn't have to be doing their homework in McDonald's parking lots. Multi-billion-dollar provisions that she helped author. Crystal Grant investigated the CDC and found out that they were incorrectly collecting data about racial disparities in COVID deaths and COVID incidents for underrepresented minorities. Walter Pope, working for Senator Tim Scott, was working on the data collection efforts for the police reform bill that came as a result of the murder of George Floyd. Really, really extraordinarily impactful stuff. And we are living in a moment. It is a tough moment. I want to acknowledge that. Um, but I think the lesson that I take from 4 years ago is stepping up for the moment. You're never going to regret that. And so I just want to end by telling you about an experience I had last week. I was in Utah and I was at a meeting with a bunch of very senior legislators, some of the most senior legislators in the country. We were talking about social media. And one of them said to me, every single day, I have a constituent that comes up to me and says, child online exploitation, you have got to do something about this. Children are being targeted on social media, young boys, young girls. He says, I have to do something on this, and I have to do something by the end of the year. I said, what do I do? What do I do? He asked that of me very earnestly. And I said to him, sir, I really don't know. This is not my expertise. I don't know these issues, and we're an agnostic organization when it comes to policy. But what I can tell you is I'd really like for you to have someone that has lived inside this technology, that has built this technology, that understands the constraints and the implications. And you deserve that because you need that to make a informed decision for your constituents. That is what we're trying to do. Policymakers, they know that they need to wrap their heads around emerging technology, and they are asking for your help. They're asking for your support. There were 50 offices last year that had asked for a fellow from us that weren't able to get them because we didn't have the numbers. This is a moment where your skills and expertise are really, really, truly needed. And so I want to end with, please, if you're on the fence, if you're having imposter syndrome, if you're reluctant, I hope you'll take the leap. I hope you'll apply because we need you and the country needs you. And so please, we hope to see your application in the pool. And let me also just say, check out our LinkedIn page. We've got a lot of fellows' testimonials there about their experience. And then check out the blog. On our blog, we have application tips on writing your essays, tips on the selections process and what we're looking for. But I wanted to send a personal message out to those folks, all of you thinking about applying, to encourage you to do it and to take that leap. So thanks so much, and thanks for listening to me for 10 minutes, and really hope to see your application. Thanks.